Today we will be studying about fundamental rights. This topic is made up of two words, fundamental and rights. We will try to understand the meaning of these two words separately. We'll start with rights. Rights are claims and demands which are made by citizens towards the government. Now, there are so many people living in the country and there can be so many claims and so many demands of each and every citizen. Is it possible to accept every demand which is being asked by by the citizens? No. Every claim or demand cannot be accepted by the society. Every claim or demand cannot be recognized by the state also. So the filtration process is done by the society, by the state, and only those claims which are found admissible, permissible by the state, by the constitution, by the society, only those claims and demands become rights. Moving on to the next word, fundamental. Fundamental word means something which is very basic to the existence of every human being. That's the meaning of the word. Because founding fathers wanted to give a name to this cluster of rights to make everyone understand that these rights should be available to every citizen of the country, irrespective of caste, class, color, race, religion, gender. Therefore, they used this word fundamental, and to give it a lot of importance to this word, Constitution has separately listed them in part 3 of the Constitution. A separate part of the Constitution is given only for fundamental rights. Special protection has provisions have been made to protect the fundamental rights. Because these fundamental rights, if it is given to every citizen, it means then the government should also have means to protect them, should have ways how the violation of these rights should not happen. Therefore, Constitution itself mentions that no government can ever violate the fundamental rights. Now, in order to understand fundamental rights, let's go a little bit into the history of the fundamental rights. First, we will discuss the international background and then we'll discuss the Indian background. The concept of giving liberties or rights to citizens started way back in England in 1215, and it was listed in a charter which is called as Magna Carta. After that, in 1776, when USA, world's oldest democracy, came up, they also included a part in their constitution which they called it as Bill of Rights, and they gave two specific and very important features to Bill of Rights. One was justiciable, which meant that any violation of this Bill of Rights will be enforced by the court, will be a punishable offense. And second point is guaranteed rights. It means that Constitution guarantees that every citizen, irrespective of their class, their status, their race, their religion, will be guaranteed with this set of rights, and court is supposed to ensure that guarantee that everyone enjoys it and no one's right is violated. Coming to the Indian background, way back in 1928, when Congress Party and other Indians were still struggling against the Britishers for freedom, Motilal Nehru Committee of the Congress demanded that we should also have a concept of Bill of Rights like it is present in the American Constitution way back in 1928. And by the time when India was actually becoming independent, those leaders, freedom fighters, leaders were very clear that we are going to give this set of rights, fundamental rights, some basic rights and liberties to all citizens of India. And there was no two opinion about it. In our constitution, we have two types of rights. One is fundamental rights and the other is legal rights. Now we need to understand the difference between the two. Ordinary legal rights, who makes them? The government makes it. Where does it make? It is made in the parliament. How it is made? The government proposes a bill, and after discussion in the parliament, the bill is passed and it becomes a law. What is the method adopted to make an ordinary law? The method adopted is simple majority. This means that ordinary legal rights are made by the Government of India in the Parliament by a simple method called as simple majority. And in case if the government wants to make a change in the existing law, again, the process is very simple. It can be changed by ordinary process of lawmaking, which means that the procedure that is followed in the lawmaking in the parliament, the same procedure will be followed in making a change in the law. So this constitutes the meaning of ordinary legal rights. Coming to fundamental rights. Now, fundamental rights, as we have studied, it is protected and guaranteed by Constitution. Unlike that of legal rights, which is prepared and ensured and enforced by Government of India or by the state government, fundamental rights are protected and guaranteed by Constitution. And if we want to change the fundamental right, the process is not simple. We have to go back to the amending procedures of the Constitution given under Article 368. It is very clearly mentioned that the fundamental rights are not to be violated by any government, either central or the state government. No organ of the government can violate the fundamental rights of citizens. They are so important. Who is supposed to, suppose it is violated, then who is supposed to protect the fundamental rights? Where can the citizens go? Well, the citizens can go to judiciary because founding fathers have given the responsibility of protecting the fundamental rights of all citizens of the country to judiciary. But having said this, that doesn't mean that the government cannot put any kind of restriction on fundamental rights. Founding fathers were very clever, were very clear that there could be situations which could arise in future where the government might be forced to put any restriction on fundamental rights. Then, in those extraordinary circumstances, the government has been given the permission, the right by the founding fathers to restrict the fundamental rights. So, therefore, we say that fundamental rights are not absolute, they are not unlimited rights. Thank you.